Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is HD StarCraft, and I'm here to bring you guys Game 3 from IPL5's Korean qualifier featuring NSH.Jjakji and Slayers.MMA. MMA is going to be the red Terran at the 12 o'clock position. The map is the massive Atlantis spaceship. And down at the bottom, we do have new star host, Jjakji. And this should be a pretty good final game to this set. Last match on Daybreak, we saw MMA finally able to take out Jjakji and tie up the series. It was a pretty close warfare, but it was such a great maneuver by MMA, pulling his tanks back and saying, hey, you can come onto my turf a little bit, but all it was a ploy to get Jjakji's army offside so he could ram the side army into that orbital command and close out the game for him. That was wonderful. We'll see what happens here on Game 3. This is Atlantis spaceship. Big map. And I would imagine it's going to be a macro game. You know, it's a huge map. The walk distances are pretty astronomical. If we had to measure this, it would not be in miles, meters, or anything like that. It would be astronomical units. So yeah, it's pretty far. And we do have a proxy barracks coming up from Jjakji. Now, in Terran versus Terran, it's a little bit different. When you see a proxy barracks, it doesn't necessarily mean the player's cheesing or anything like that. It's actually quite common to see proxy marauders, actually, in TVT. And I would imagine that's what Jjakji's going for here. He's already got one gas starting up. He's going to need a little bit to get concussive shells and to get those marauders out. And for now, MMA doesn't quite know where the proxy barracks is, but because it's become so commonplace in TVT to do this, especially on the Korean servers, I would imagine MMA will scout, or he'll send an SCV in some direction to probably check for this. And this is one of the primary locations. Also, you'll see proxy barracks over here a lot of times as well, too. And I would imagine here comes MMA, actually, right on cue, with that SCV going out to check for whatever there might be, and he will see the barracks along with the tech lab on the way. Very rarely, I think, do you see Reapers. It's more often we'll see the Marauder. So that's what I'm thinking we're going to have coming out momentarily here. That SCV getting a little close to the Marine, but immediately pulls out. Nice micro by Jjakji. And we will have a little bit of early aggression to start things off. The SCV already starting to work down that tech lab, but we'll need additional firepower, I think, to take it out before the Marauder comes out. And here we go. It's going to be a bit of a race. Will the Marine and SCV be able to take out the tech lab before the Marauder comes out to save its upgrade? And actually, I don't think so. I think MMA, yeah, he realizes how painful concussive shells can be, so he's brought out additional SCVs here. Has to get rid of this Marauder first, though, which has already popped off a Marine. And very nice micro here from Jjakji. If he can pick off the second Marine, then he's scot-free. He can get the concussive shells upgrade. It's going to be close, and he gets it. Now, however, the tech lab is burning down, and oh, the SCV killed off the Marauder. Very nice micro by MMA. Clutch at the last second, and it looks like concussive shells has been canceled. So that puts a damper in Jjakji's original plans to be aggressive here. Without concussive shells, you can't slow down the Marines, you can't give chase, you can't kite away, and it really makes it much more difficult for Jjakji to be aggressive. And I would imagine probably going to finish up this Marauder and lift up the barracks. And there we go. And he's going to go ahead and bring it back home. So he's not going to go straight to Sky Terran. He's going to rock the more conventional BIOS style, and he'll need that barracks back at home in order to do that. Brings in two Marauders, though. We'll be able to pick off that SCV. And, you know, Jjakji knows that he's a little behind right now because of that invested time that really didn't pan out as expected. So he has to do as much damage as he can. And he's already killed off the SCV. In fact, two Marauders here doing quite a bit of damage, and even without any huge upgrades, look at how quickly they can take down that command center, man. It's 527, 507, 487, and MMA has to pull his SCVs and Marines to push it away. Barracks still floating back towards home, as looks like MMA is going to go ahead and give chase. Going to try to go surround the Marauders. Gets one. Very good stutter step from MMA, who has now been able to secure the natural expansion and is working towards more of a biocentric build. Tech lab on the way, the first one for him. And meanwhile, back at the blue Terran's base, he's already working on +1 infantry weapons, trying to get the second and third racks up as his command center is already down. And it's actually a pretty close game. I would say maybe Jjakji just slightly behind, because I don't think his Marauders did as much damage as he would have liked. But it's not as far behind as you would think, because he did delay the natural for a considerable period of time. And now we kind of had that little lull here when both players will most likely, you know, TVT is a big game about build-up. It's like the Cold War. You need to get huge armies out on the field, and you need to, in order to get that amount of army out, you need to have a lot of macro. You need a good foundation for your bases, your economy. You need everything to be rhythmic. You need everything beating to the right tune if you're going to be able to win, you know, a sustained TVT fight. And now I would imagine we're going to see both players throwing up macro CCs, double engineering base, huge upgrades on the way here, because it's very hard in Terran versus Terran to really make an early attack count. That's why a lot of Terrans actually go for that Proxy Marauder, because that's really your only opportunity in the beginning of the game to be aggressive, to bring a little bit of dynamicness, I think, to the early portion of TVT. Now, one thing I will note here is it looks like Jakji is only focusing on one upgrade, not opting to get +1 armor, and MMA is going to be, yeah, he's going to have a big upgrade advantage because of that. He's going to have armor finishing up way before Jakji will, and just like any matchup in StarCraft 2, upgrades are very important. So we will see if Jakji decides to throw down a second NG Bay or not. Obviously, MMA is mining out of, or about to be mining out of 4 gases. Jakji mining out of 3 and has not gotten the 4th one up yet. And I guess the reason for that, it looks like he got the starport a lot faster. I'm looking at the production tab right now, and MMA has started his starport, but it is considerably later than Jakji's. So where Jakji's Marines will suffer the little less of armor upgrade, they're going to have the mobility. They're going to have medevacs out in the sky. And more importantly, I don't think we're going to have, after the medevacs, we might even have some Vikings coming out to support the sky of Jakji's, you know, the airspace of Jakji's, so he can have siege tanks out and get that additional sight range. For now, though, he isn't really focusing into siege tanks. He's actually just going with a more mobile style of Terran play, and he's going to have to try to hit MMA a couple times here for it to really pay off. He's starting to fly out across the skies right now. Stimpack will finish up a little bit before MMA as well, so that's another upgrade advantage that will go towards Jakji to help balance out the fact that his armor is a little later. But here we go. He's flying out across the skies right now with 2 medevacs, and this could be a pretty devastating blow if MMA is not prepared for it. He needs to actually make sure to get some units out on the left side of his base. Unfortunately for him, doesn't have Xel'Naga tower control to the northwest, and that is why Jakji is going to be able to fly in here undetected. And wow, MMA is going to be moving out at the same time. Oh, this is going to be so painful for MMA because he's going to lose both engineering bays or SCVs, depending on what Jakji wants to go for. MMA immediately runs back, but he doesn't have stim, and his Marines are so slow right now, losing huge amounts of economy back at home. 2 workers, actually not too big, but he will lose the engineering bays and the mining time as well. Supply depot goes down, MMA now supply blocked, and these 2 medevacs, man, they just hit the home run. Jakji can do so much damage, and he can retreat under the medevacs and get out of there at any point in time. Now even going for an expansion to the bottom right, where MMA has 4 Marines, but the lone outpost gets taken out, and Jakji escapes without losing, he might have lost 1 Marine, and that is it. Wow, huge damage done. And all of a sudden, you know, at first MMA had that upgrade advantage going for him. The tables just completely flipped. And in this matchup, man, where it's all about Marines and tanks, they're firing on each other, doing tons of damage, those upgrades are really going to be crucial. MMA's restarting 2-2 right now. I don't know where he got his engineering base replaced at. It looks like he built them over at the natural, but what a devastating blow to his upgrades. And right now it looks like Jakji needs to get 2-2 on the way, actually needs to get an armory down if he's gonna, because he's actually still behind in upgrades. He needs to get armory down so he can get his 2-2 out on the field. But good for him that he took out the armories. That's a big blow to MMA. And right now Jakji's starting to move out across the map. You know, Jakji really playing, to me it seems like a lower eco style, but you know, he's done so much damage already. His supply is at 138 over 111. MMA playing more of the conservative, I'm going to sit back, expand style. Haven't seen him drop yet at all. Playing very defensively with the Viking to catch off medevacs into open space. But despite that, he's taken a lot of damage already, and it really seems like Jakji's macro has kicked into high gear, 142 over 120 now. As Jakji begins to move into the bottom and he scans, he will probably be able to push this orbital command away and maybe kill it off. Yeah, he will. Oh, another devastating blow. Jakji, guerrilla warfare tactics, hit and run. And he is going to once again get out of here. I don't think he lost a single Marine. That was a Christmas present, gift wrapped by MMA, not in position. And that's the thing about going highly mobile Terran. Obviously, there are some tanks being incorporated now, but the early to mid-game TVT, a lot of days now, you're seeing the highly mobile Marine style. It allows you to move in, pick off forces, and then escape with your medevac should you need to. It's very effective. And now MMA really feeling the pressure, because if he loses this game, he is out of the Korean regional qualifiers. So he definitely doesn't want to lose it. He has upgrades going for him. The 2-2, despite being delayed, will finish up long before Jakji's will. So he has an opportunity, I think, to make an attack happen. But the siege tank count, let's take a look at that. Jakji at a staggering 7 siege tanks. MMA only has a solo tank, and even the Marine count heavily in favor of Jakji. Jakji is a Terran versus Terran guru, and I don't know how in the world MMA is going to be able to catch up in this game. This is going to be really hard for him to do. He's going to have to pull on all the knowledge he has practicing in the Slayer's house in order to pull this off, because Jakji is running the house right now. He's going down to the bottom right here. He might try to go for this orbital command. Drops a comms hat to check for forces. Doesn't see much, but enemy troops are inbound, and MMA has a short amount of time here to pick off this orbital command. He decides not to, though. He decides not to, and he will fall back. I think that was a split-second decision that I believe was the right one. Had he stayed to try to take out this orbital, the tanks would have sieged up. He would have lost a lot of Marines, and the possibility of Jakji making a devastating counterattack, I think, was all there. And if that had happened, MMA could have lost the game right there. So MMA content to just force the liftoff, you know, lose a little mining time for Jakji, force him to re-macro this area, and he will control the center of the map. So he'll take solace in the fact that he has map control, but he really needs to get his tank count up right now, producing them 2 at a time. So that is going to be quite helpful. Looks like a scan coming down here from Jakji, who's planning to move out. Might look to do some serious damage here as he's sieging up his tanks, or perhaps just going to play more defensive posture. Love the sensor tower. Oops, excuse me. What did I push? I love the sensor tower placement as well. If you look on the mini-map, there's one to the left and there's one to the right. This is just really good placement because it covers everything. It's like a little Venn diagram. In here you get the double coverage right in this little slit. So very, very nice from Jakji. And he is now sitting on 3 bases, a very pretty 3 bases, as he is trying to get his upgrades to get on par with MMA. Surprisingly, neither player really using the drop lanes in this map. It's more been a ground-based battle, I think. Oh, those medevacs, very careful. MMA has to be. Look at me pulling out a Yoda right now. Careful you must be. And it looks like MMA pulls back, doesn't want to lose his medevacs, will play it more safe as he's trying to secure the 4th command center. This map as well, because you've kind of got these, it's like a little skate park in the middle of the map with all these ramps and half pipes and everything. You really want to make sure you have good, proper siege tank control on the high ground, on concave positions. Otherwise, the Terran, with the highly mobile army that Jakji has, can stim up and pick off your tanks, especially if you're unsieged. And MMA has to siege up here, has to be careful, does not want to get caught with his tanks on siege, trying to get up to the high ground, and then we'll siege up. Big battle here as MMA goes in with everything, but the concave from Jakji, too superior. Right now, Jakji's Marines, let me go ahead and check the heads-up display for you guys at 2-2. MMA at 2-2 as well. About to get the 3 weapons finished up, so now MMA has that slight advantage. Tank warfare now between the 2 players, and no Vikings really to speak of at all, which at this point, if you just look at the battle, Jakji obviously has the bigger army here, and oh my god, he's going to be able to pick off a tank, not just 1, but 2, 3, and all the tanks are going to go down. Jakji with a big play there, kills off all the enemy tanks of MMA, and MMA now extremely on the back foot. Has 4 more tanks coming out. I don't know where those tanks came from. Wonderful magic macro right there from MMA, but he's got to be careful. Pulls his Marines back, almost like we were seeing Banelings run in there. The Marine sprinting from MMA to get out of range of the siege tanks was really fast. Good reaction. But Jakji is slowly pushing forward and asserting his dominance against MMA. And behind the scenes, he has another command center coming up at the Rich Vespine Geyser. So Jakji has 4 bases, MMA has 4 bases, but Jakji's got the extra gas, and we know that what that means. That means Ravens can come out at any time. Heavy upgrades. We could see Seeker missiles in TVT. We can even see battle cruisers, man. It is a crazy matchup that can go all the way to Sky Terran mode, and MMA has a distinct disadvantage because he doesn't have the gas income nearly as much as Jakji will when he gets the extra geysers going here, and he also has another base coming up. So Jakji running off of 5 bases now? That's pretty astronomical. 20 minutes into this game, Jakji trying to sneak around the left-hand side here. Going to go for an intercept as these forces were going to the left. MMA looks like he was going to try to go for the 5th expansion, but he gets intercepted, and his forces are going to get cut off. Tank sieging up. MMA will have to pull out, and luckily for him, there is a way to retreat, but man, his forces have been getting caught left and right. By the way, guys, both players now at max upgrade, so the upgrade advantages do not matter anymore. 2 weapons for tanks. Actually, Jakji has been upgrading his tanks, whereas MMA has not, and that does matter. So that's a big count right there, especially considering Jakji has more tanks than MMA, 13 to 11. MMA is going to go for a complete sideswipe here. He's going to run around the army. Is he going to go for a base race? This is such a crazy decision. To do a base race in Terran versus Terran, you have to have some serious balls, man, because it's so hard to pull off. If there are tanks back here, and there are, MMA cannot break through that location, and now he's been pincered in as Jakji has sieged up on the high ground behind him, and there are tanks and marines coming out of the reinforcements in front of him. MMA in a lot of trouble here. He cannot afford to lose this. These tanks, these are all he's got, and right now he's cornered in on all sides. I don't know why MMA decided to send his forces through this area, because now it's like a strategic battle of chess, and you know, if MMA is not careful, man, he is going to get surrounded on all sides, and he is going to lose his army. And he knows it, and he's bringing out reinforcements right now. It's going to be, I'm curious to see where he sends these forces. Where will he put them? In defensive position, or will he come to reinforce this location? I don't even know if you can reinforce it. And now MMA realizing the folly of his movement, of his error, of his mistakes, he is going to get surrounded, and all of his tanks, oh my god, are going to bite the dust. Wow, MMA is going to lose everything. Jakji now 185 supply to 150. This is bad news for MMA. This is bad news, Bear. I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe MMA had an opportunity there. I thought he was going to step up and try to pick off the tanks, but Jakji's reaction time was just a little bit faster than that. Units lost tab right now is showing MMA has suffered 15k in resources. 33% more than Jakji, assuming my math is correct. There is a medevac flying out to the northwest here. And MMA, remember, in the last game, he did some decent damage with that medevac, but more importantly, he was able to buy time by forcing Jakji to run back. We'll see if he can do the same thing again here. That medevac is in range of the sensor